In a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and green fields, there lived a farmer named Harun. Harun was not just a farmer. He was a man of deep faith and wisdom. Every day, Harun would begin his morning by praying to Allah, seeking his blessings and guidance. Then, he would head to his farm with a heart full of gratitude, ready to work hard under the sun. Harun's farm was beautiful. Rows of lush green crops stretched out like a carpet, with fruit trees heavy with ripe apples, pomegranates, and oranges. A small stream flowed through his land, providing fresh water for his crops and a peaceful sound as he worked. The birds chirped happily in the trees, and even the animals that wandered near his fields seemed to thrive in his presence. The villagers often said, "Harun's farm is the most blessed in the entire village. Surely he has some secret that we don't know." But Harun would only smile and reply, "There is no secret. It is all from Allah. I simply do my best, and he does the rest." Not far from Harun's farm lived his neighbor, Karim. Karim was also a farmer, but his farm was not as fruitful as Harun's. His crops were often dry and weak, and no matter how hard he worked, he could not achieve the same success. This filled Karim's heart with envy. One day, Karim could no longer keep his thoughts to himself. He marched over to Harun's farm, where he found Harun pruning the branches of a grapevine. "Harun," Karim said, his voice sharp, "I have to ask you something. Why is it that your farm flourishes while mine struggles? We have the same soil, the same sun, and the same water. What are you doing differently?" Or, Karim's voice lowered suspiciously, "Have you taken water meant for my land? Or done something to harm my crops?" Harun stopped his work and turned to Karim with a calm smile. "My dear neighbor," he said gently, "I would never harm your land, nor take what is not mine. Allah sees everything we do, and I would never risk losing his blessings by acting unjustly. But perhaps I can help you." Karim frowned, but he was curious. "How could you possibly help me?" he asked. Harun walked to his storage shed and brought out a small sack of seeds. "These are seeds from my own farm. They have always grown well for me. Plant these on your land, water them regularly, and most importantly, pray to Allah for his blessings. Remember, Karim, our success does not come from our hands alone. It is Allah who gives and withholds as he wills." Karim hesitated. He wasn't sure whether to trust Harun, but in the end, he took the seeds. Karim returned to his farm and planted the seeds just as Harun had advised. For the first few days, he felt hopeful. He watered the soil, watched the sun rise and set over his fields, and waited for the seeds to sprout. But as days turned into a week and nothing appeared, Karim grew impatient. "This is useless," he muttered. "These seeds must be bad. Why isn't anything growing?" Unable to contain his frustration, Karim began digging up the seeds to check on them. But this only disturbed the soil and made it harder for the seeds to grow. Harun noticed Karim's frustration and came to visit him. "Karim," he said, "patience is a part of farming and of life. Just as we cannot force the sun to rise faster, we cannot force the seeds to grow before their time. Trust Allah. He will make them sprout when the time is right." Karim sighed but nodded. He reburied the seeds and tried to be patient. Days turned into weeks, and slowly but surely small green shoots began to appear. Karim's heart filled with hope, and for the first time in a long while, he smiled as he worked on his farm. Just as Karim's crops began to thrive, something unexpected happened. One evening, dark clouds gathered over the village, and the wind began to howl. Rain poured down in heavy sheets, and lightning lit up the sky. It was the fiercest storm the village had seen in years. The next morning, Karim rushed to his fields, his heart pounding with fear. To his relief, his crops were mostly unharmed. But when he went to check on Haroun's farm, his heart sank. The storm had destroyed nearly everything. The trees were broken, the crops were flattened, and the once beautiful farm was now a muddy mess. Haroun stood in the middle of his ruined farm, looking calm despite the destruction. "Karim," he said with a smile, "how are your crops? Did they survive the storm?" Karim felt a pang of guilt. His own farm had been saved, but Haroun's had been ruined. How could Haroun still smile after losing everything? "My crops are fine," Karim said quietly. "But your farm, it's gone. I don't understand. You worked so hard, and you always prayed. Why would this happen to you?" Haroun placed a hand on Karim's shoulder. "My brother," he said, "everything we have belongs to Allah. He gives and He takes, and He knows what is best for us. Maybe this is a test for me, or maybe it is a blessing in disguise. Either way, I trust in His plan." Karim couldn't stop thinking about Haroun's words. He remembered how Haroun had helped him when he was struggling, and now it was Haroun who needed help. That evening, Karim filled a large basket with fruits and vegetables from his own farm and carried it to Haroun's home. "Haroun," Karim said, tears in his eyes, "this is for you. It's not much, but it's all I have to thank you for your kindness and wisdom." Haroun accepted the basket with gratitude. "May Allah bless you, Karim," he said. "But remember, true kindness comes from Allah. He has blessed you with success, and now He is giving you the chance to share it with others. Never forget that everything we do should be for His sake." From that day on, Karim and Haroun became close friends. Karim continued to share his harvest with those in need, and Haroun's farm slowly recovered. Together, they reminded the villagers of the importance of patience, gratitude, and reliance on Allah.